Good morning, students. I believe you are set for mathematics class this morning. Please pick your writing materials, your jotter, and follow me through as we commence today's class. And I believe you all had a wonderful weekend. So this morning we'll be looking at word problems involving inequalities. If you remember, in our subsequent classes, we've been talking about linear inequalities, how to solve linear inequalities using number line. So we are going to look at word problems involving inequalities. It's just like word problems involving equations. So now, but before we go into that, let's look at the correction to the exercises that was given in the last class that was on Wednesday. And let's do justice to them. Now, let's start with question 1. We have to solve 1 minus 4x greater or equals x minus 9. So what do you do first? You bring the ones that are having the same terms together. How do you do that? I told you, you don't do it anyhow. You do it either by adding or by subtracting. Now, let me subtract x from both sides. That will be 1 minus 4x minus x greater or equals x minus 9. So once you do this, this will become 0, and this will be 1 minus 4x minus x. That will give you minus 5x, which is greater or equals minus 9. So subtract 1 from both sides. You will have 1 minus 5x minus 1 greater or equals minus 1 minus 1. And this will give us minus 5x greater or equals minus 9 minus 1 will give us minus 10. So divide both sides by minus 5 since you are looking for x. So since you are divided by negative, it will change the inequality sign to less than or equal to 2. So that will be your answer. That is for question 1. For question 2, we have 5y minus 8 greater or equals 12. So what do? You add 8 to both sides. That will be 5y minus 8 plus 8 greater or equals 12 plus 8. And this will give us 5y minus 8 plus 8 will give us 0. And this will be 20. 12 plus 8 is 20. So you divide both sides by 5. By 5, you have y is greater or equals 4. That is on question 2. Then on question 3, you have minus 4p less than minus 10. You are looking for p. So just divide both sides by minus 4. Minus 4 less than minus 10 over minus 4. And this will give you p. Since you are divided by negative, that will be greater than. So that will be 5 over 2. So that is p is greater than 5 over 2. The last question on the list is 2x plus 5 greater than or equals 7x minus 20. That is what you have there. Okay, so we have 2x plus 5 greater or equals 7x minus 20. Now let's take 7x to that side. You can do it in any way round. You can do it the other way round. Are you getting me? Sorry? Okay. I'm very sorry for that. There is a technical fault. Okay, now let's continue. 2x, that will be 2x minus 7x. That is, I'm subtracting 7x from both sides plus 5 greater or equals 7x minus 7x minus 20. And this will give me minus 5x, right, plus 5, which is greater or equals minus 20. Okay, so I must eliminate 5 here. That means I'm subtracting 5 from both sides again. That will be plus 5 minus 5 greater or equals minus 20 minus 5. And this will give me minus 5x is greater than or equals minus 25. And when you divide through by minus 5, you will have x is less than or equal to 5. Since you are dividing through by negative 5. Now, what do we have for today? Our lesson objectives is, at the end of this lesson, you must be able to interpret word problems to linear inequalities, 1. You must be able to solve the linear inequalities that is involved. Then you must be able to solve problems on word problems involving inequalities. So the first is to interpret the problem into linear inequality form, solve it, then we solve some other examples on it also. Okay, word problems involving inequalities are solving in the same way we solve word problems involving simple equations. There is difference between equation and inequality. Equation has equality sign, which is sameness. Then inequality means it does not, you are not sure, it's not certain that it's equal. In short, it's not equal. So word problems involving inequalities can be translated and they can be solved. It is solvable. Let's look at this example. Example 1. Example 1, we are told that think of a number and multiply it by 5. We have to think of a number and we multiply that number by 5. The result is less than or equal to when 3 times the number is subtracted from 16. Find the number. Okay? Let the number be what? Be x, as we always do. So if that number is x, the number is x. I know you are jotting something down. So let the number be x. So 5 multiplied by x, that will be 5 multiplied by that number. The result is less than, this is less than or equal to when 3 times the number is subtracted from 16. That is, 3 times the number means 3 multiplied by x. Then you now subtract, is subtracted from 16. That means 16 minus x. That will be the interpretation of the last statement. That is 16 minus 3x. Right? So this is the linear inequality. You've been able to interpret from the word problem to the linear inequality form. Now, we have to solve this. Okay? So, let us add 3x to both sides. That will be 5x plus 3x is what? Less than or equal to 16 minus 3x plus 3x. And this will give us 8x is less than what? 16. Divide both sides by 8. That means x is less than or equal to 2. That is the first example. The next example says, Obi thinks of a number and multiplies it by 3. Obi thinks of a number and multiplies it by 3. That is, let that number be what? Be x. I believe you are jotting down. I will not be writing everything. Let that number that Obi is thinking of be what? Be x. So if that number is x, multiplies it by 3. That will be 3 multiplied by x, which is 3x. Right? So the result is greater than, which is greater than or equal to when 5 times the number, that is 5 multiplied by x, is added to 8. So this, again, is the linear inequality form. We've shifted from interpreting the statement to a linear inequality form, which is solvable. So we now solve this. Don't forget what we have is 3x is what? Greater than or equals 5x plus 8. Now, let me subtract 5x from both sides to be greater than 5x minus 5x plus 8. And this will give me minus 2x, which is greater than or equals 8. So when I divide through by minus 2, that means my x will be less than or equal to minus 4. So that means that number is less than or equal to minus 4. So that means that number is less than or equal to what? Is greater than or okay, it's less than or equal to minus 4. You understand? Okay. Now let's look at another example. We are told that if I think of a number and add 12, the result is greater than 21. What is the original number? So I want you to just attempt this in less than, let me just give you 10 seconds max. Just try it for me. If I think of a number and add 12, the result is greater than 21. What is the original number? Okay, for those that do not know how to solve that or how to go about that, let the number be what? Let me say y. I'm not using x this time around. Okay, then you now add 12 to that number, and the result of that number is greater than 21. Very simple. So you're looking for what? Y. So that means y plus 12 greater than 21. So subtract 12 from both sides. We have 21 minus 12. That means y is greater than what? Than 9. That is the answer. Okay? Now, another question says, in 10 years' time, Ngozi will be at least 28 years old. How old is Ngozi now? Note the words at least. What is the meaning of at least? So, in respect to this, I'll be talking about at least, at most. What do they mean when you want to represent them in inequality form? At least means greater than or equal to. This is at least. While at most is less than or equal to. At most, at least, that is the least that you can have. You can have that or more than that. At most, you can have that or less than that. So, in 10 years' time, if you have to look at it in your own age now, what will be your age in 10 years' time? That is your present age plus in 10 years' time. That is plus 10. So let the age of Ngozi be what? Be x. That means x plus 10 will be at least 28 years. That means greater than or equal to 28 years. So how old is Ngozi now? So we want to know how old is Ngozi now. So when you subtract 10 from both sides, you have 28 minus 10, and this will give you x greater than or equals 18. So the present age of Ngozi now will be 18 years old. The age of Ngozi now will be 18 years old. So in 10 years' time, you know what the age will be. in the next year, Ngozi will be what? 19. So that is why we said x is greater than or equals. Presently is equals, that is 18. Then in the next 1 year, that will be what? Greater than 19. Like that. That's how it will be increasing. So that is the solution to that example. Now, another example is if I add 12 to a certain number and then double the result, the answer is less than or equal to 42. Find the number. Okay, let that number be what? Let me say A. I'm using A. The number is A. So, if I add 12 to a certain number, that is A plus 12, and then double the result, this is the result that you have. So, you now double it. That is, multiply by 2. The answer is less than or equal to, this is the answer. This is what you have. Is less than or equal to 42. Do you understand this question? Let me explain again. The word double means multiply number by 2 twice. Okay? If I add 12 to a certain number, A plus 12, the answer, when you double it, the answer, this will be the answer, is less than or equal to 42. So find the original number. So what are you looking for now? You are looking for A. Okay? Now, since this is 2 here, instead of you opening the bracket with 2 and complicating issues for yourself, why not just divide through by 2? By 2. Right? And once you do that, you are going to have A plus 12, which is greater than or equals, is it greater or less? Okay, I think it's less. Sorry. Okay, it is less than or equal to. Now, 42 into that will be 21. So subtract 12 from both sides. Minus 12 less than or equal to 21 minus 12. That means A will be less than or equal to what? 9. So that is your answer. So that will be the original number. That means A is less than or equal to 9. Or we can say A is 9. Okay. Now the next question is, suppose I subtract 8 from a certain number. I subtract 8 from a certain number. I subtract 8 from a certain number. Do you understand the way that question is structured? I subtract 8 from a certain number. Let that number be what? Be x. So you now subtract 8 from that number. That will be x minus 8, right? And then multiply the result by 3. This is the result that you have. You now multiply it by what? By 3. The answer will not be greater than 21. The answer will not be greater than 81. Than 21. What does that mean? That is, the answer cannot exceed. The answer will be less than 21. So the answer will not be greater than 21. What does that mean? The answer will be less than 21, or the answer will be equal to 21. What is the meaning? Will not be greater than 21. That is, it cannot exceed 21, but it can be equal to 21. Yes. Now the question now says, find the range of values for the what? For the unknown. Now this is the problem that we want to solve now. Okay. So we have x minus 8 multiplied by 3 is less than or equal to 21. So just to make your work easier, divide both sides by 3. That means x minus 8 will be less than or equal to what? 7. Will be less than or equal to 7. Now, add 8 to both sides. That means minus 8 plus 8 less than 7 plus 8. And this will give you x is less than or equal to 15. Now, since the question says we are to find the range of values for the unknown, so that will be the range of values. That is, x, which is that number, will be less than or equal to 15. So you can also check, maybe your answer is right or wrong. If you insert 15 to this inequality, this will give us 15 minus 8. That will be what? 7. 7 is equal to 7. Then if you put 14, 14 will be what? 6. 6 is less than 7. If you put 13, like that, so that means it's a solution. So that is correct. Now, in conclusion, we've been able to deal with word problems, how to interpret word problems, and we've been able to solve problems in this form. We were able to translate from word problems to linear inequalities, and we were able to solve them accordingly. So for the sake of next class, you're going to solve these exercises for me, and it will be submitted to the email address at the first page of the screen. So do well to attempt those questions, and I'll be very glad to receive your solutions. Now, for your further readings, check Stand Mathematics, Book 2, page 97, General Mathematics, Book 2, Mathematics Focus for Book 2. The YouTube link also will be of greater help, to help you a lot. You watch videos, they explain and everything. It's so interactive. So thank you very much for staying tuned. Our next class is on Wednesday. So please, before Wednesday, try to do your assignments and try to solve questions. And if you have any questions that is bothering you, feel free to message me through talkby.ilesomi@greenland.org. Thank you very much. Stay blessed. Bye for now.